Hello, people of California. Today I had the chance to analyze the conservative and liberal ways of linkage institutions in the United States government and their positions on immigration, specifically an interest group. So to begin, a linkage institution is a structure in a society that connects people to their central government. So in the United States, an example would be interest groups. As I mentioned earlier, they're really biased in politics. They go the extreme liberal conservative ways. They don't necessarily stay in the middle. An example would be media. Media presents information to us. To begin, the first source that I had the chance to analyze would be from the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Institutional Organizations, or also known as the AFL-CIO, and their point of immigration. Now, looking on their website, the AFL-CIO, and their point of view on their immigration reform is that they tend to be really liberal, in the sense that they want the immigration reform to pass. They're in support of the immigration. And the reason why I believe AFL-CIO is liberal is their mission states bringing fairness and dignity to workplace and securing social justice. Now, in today's terms, that would mean every group. And being that the AFL-CIO is consisted of liberal groups that are part of union labor works, now that means that they're in support of this change that is being offered, not just to immigrants, not just to workers that currently exist, but to everybody. And so their fairness, and the reason why I believe that they're in favor of change is because fairness and dignity are words of change. Words of change often mean that they're in support of change. They want this change to happen, good change. As fairness is always a positive thing that is changing in our society and needs to change. And to support that, they've also included securing social justice. And social justice applies to everybody. Everybody in the society, everybody in these labor unions, everybody that is working in the United States. Now, under their mission, they had the article, Executive Action to Protect Workers' Rights. And what this means is they're stating their beliefs in protecting workers' rights. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But once you're looking into the article and you keep reading through it, their terms were really biased in the sense that when describing the House of Representatives, as they mentioned that they were all Republicans, and as it's known, Republicans are fairly conservative. When it was described, the House of Reps, they said disgracefully doing their job, meaning that they're barely doing the job. They're not doing anything to provide the social change that they want. Now, this is definitely a term of bias because AFL-CIO claims that they want to bring fairness and social equality to all in their jobs, in society, everywhere they go. And if the way they represent House of Representatives that are currently Republican as disgraceful, that doesn't make much sense as part of their social equality, because they're bringing down a specific group of people who believe in the Republican and conservative ways. Now, looking at this more specifically, when they try to prove their points, there are no statistics. There's only one hard piece of evidence, and it was just a slight mention of Bill S-744, which is just the visa per work permit. And when they mention it, they don't say much. They just, this was passed because of or Bill S-744, and that's it. There's no more mention of who it affected, what it did. And the majority of the essay, or the article I should say, is filled with personal experiences. They have stories and accounts, but they have no idea of where they came from. There weren't any corroborations to people who mentioned this, or ways of working together. They just say, people have been worked hard, worked over hours, underpaid, but where did they get the source? And the reason this main argument is invalid is because they use the philological term, they use the false cause fallacy. So the argument they used, and is also an example of this false cause fallacy, was since Republicans are in the House and they are very extremely conservative, then social injustice is occurring. Meaning, unless the Republicans are moved out of the House of Representatives, then will the United States create social justice.